What up, guys? JP back at you once again, bringing you guys day number 5 in my 7th annual 31 Days of Horror, a series in which we watch and review 31 horror films in 31 days, all during the month of October, leading right up to Halloween. This year, though, we have a challenge going along with it, where I have to hit a bunch of criteria as I watch and review things. So, today's film is a film that's coming to us courtesy of Dark Sky Films, and that is The Witch Files from the year 2018. So this is going to hit a few criteria. It's going to hit one of my 3 2018 films. It's also going to hit one of my 5 first-time watches, which I think this will be the 3rd first-time watch. So we only have 2 more of those to go. And then it is actually going to hit the found footage mark, which I actually didn't know. I should have guessed by the title, The Witch Files. I didn't even know this was found footage until after I popped it in. I was just going to knock off my 2018 criteria. So, The Witch Files is, take a look at the cover. What do you think it is? Let me just take a guess. What do you think this movie is? If you guessed The Craft, you would be correct, because that is what this film is, more or less, but found footage. So the film opens up with a young girl who is working for her school newspaper, and she wants to document the effects of detention and whether it actually has any success in rehabilitation, in meaning, if you're punished for your actions in high school, do you then not do them again? There she meets a group of girls who are all in detention for their different reasons. One of them is sort of the snobby, stuck-up, popular girl. One is like the chubbier girl who's just like, kind of there. And then you have a girl who is like the sports girl, she's good at field hockey or whatever her sport is. And then, of course, you have the 5th girl, if you include the documentary filmmaker herself. She is the goth type girl, and kind of nonchalantly, the film starts off with the girl blatantly showing that she has, powers. She basically, is showing the girls that she can start the fire alarm, and then they all go out, and the girls are like, "Can you teach us to do that?" And she's like, "I think so." So they meet up at midnight. Kind of weird how that first scene plays out, because she's just straight up like, "Yeah, I have magic powers here, let me show you." Kind of different, normally there's more of a build up and more of like somebody accidentally seeing her use her powers or something like that, but she's just showing them off. And so the girls do this like seance thing, and then they become a coven and they become witches, so they start immediately using their powers to benefit themselves. This one wants a new car, this one wants, new clothes, this one wants her mom to stop drinking, this one wants her sister to stop stuttering, this one wants to win the field hockey tournament, and this one wants the teacher to stop bugging her and to get straight A's and stuff. So they start using all these powers, but then bad things start happening to them. They don't actually say it in this film, but in The Craft, where they say everything you do is going to come back 3 times to you, so bad things start happening to them, and their powers are helping them, but it's also hurting them in the end. And then they find out that they're actually aging faster too, which I wish they would have played that up a little bit more, but they kind of pumped the brakes on it a little bit, because that would have been cool to see them actually start turning into like witches, like old nasty witches, because it makes sense. Why are witches old and gross looking? It's because every time they use their powers, it ages them. I like that concept. I've seen it in a few other movies, and since this movie is pretty much copies of other witch films, it would make sense if they played that up a little bit more. So basically they have to stop using their powers, but all of them don't want to stop using their powers. We've seen this before with The Craft, and actually another film with boy witches, The Covenant, which is pretty okay as well. So yeah, it's all done in this found footage narrative style. Honestly, I did like this movie. I like the camaraderie between the girls. It does have a lot of flaws, though. One of which is it's really unoriginal, and then 2, the acting is very spotty at times. It's very, very spotty, which did surprise me. I wasn't expecting it to be that spotty. But the thing that is the worst aspect of this film is the found footage. And I don't mean that because it's found footage. I love found footage films. It's one of my favorite subgenres. It's that I am sick and tired of this thing that found footage filmmakers do. Take this as a warning. Anybody out there who's considering making a found footage film, do not do this. I am sick and damn tired of it. This is a plea to filmmakers to stop this nonsense. So, in found footage films, you see this happen way too much. And it's basically when the camera, whether digital, tape, whatever, gets distorted, like, you know, and the image gets all cutty and or digitalized or pixelated, or in, you know, the tracking's all messed up, and it happens so goddamn much in this movie. It was driving me crazy. What it does is it takes you out of the movie. It makes you remember that some dude is sitting at a computer editing these things in there, because there's no reason for them to exist. They say in the film it is a brand new camera. Why the hell would there be digital distortion in the footage? It doesn't make sense, you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense at all. It's trying to have a nice little flair to it, but it just completely fails. I hate that stuff. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. And it's overdone in this film. If you do that in your found footage films, it makes sense if the camera gets thrown off a bridge or something. It's like, you know, distorted because it's hitting things. Why is the camera, when it's in a still position, when, by the way, and you could use the argument, well, maybe it's the magical force that's causing it. No, because there's times where they're not doing anything with magic. That is frustrating. I cannot stand it. Please stop doing it. It almost made me want to shut this movie off before it even started, because I just complained about this on a podcast, and it takes you out of the movie. It just does. So that rant over. I hate that stuff. Stop doing it. This would have been much more enjoyable without any of those pixelation things. And I know sometimes they do it to hide edits, but think of a more clever way. Do anything but that, because it's frustrating. It makes no sense. There's no reason why the camera would be distorted there. So just stop. Other than that, okay movie. It wasn't bad. I did enjoy certain things about it. Like I said, the camaraderie of the witches, really cool. I actually liked most of the characters, honestly. Like, they all sort of have these arcs and things, you know. It's a little cliche and we've seen it before, but that's okay sometimes, you know. I don't need to see original films every time I watch stuff. Comfort food is cool, too. It definitely would probably appeal to, like, teen girls more than, you know, grown men, but it was alright. I didn't mind. I liked the movie enough. Kind of predictable, but at the same time, it was cool. I like the, I love The Craft. The Craft is one of my favorite movies, so it's kind of like The Craft. So, like I said, kind of comfort food for me. But The Witch Files, yes, this is probably about a 6 out of 10, honestly. The guy who directed this is I forget his name, Kyle Rankin. He actually did a movie that I really enjoyed from like a year or two ago called Night of Living Deb. And for whatever reason, that movie, which he wrote as well, felt way more polished. Like, it felt as if the lines were like smoothed out and like everything was good. It was a really funny, good movie. So this is definitely a step down for this director, but I also have seen his other film, Infestation, which I actually like as well. It was kind of a comedy, killer big giant mutant bugs or something. I can't really remember, but yeah, that is The Witch Files. It was pretty cool. I do recommend checking it out if you see it on Netflix or something like that. It's not really worth going out and necessarily buying at full retail price, but you know, if you like witch movies, found footage, might be worth a shot. Anyway guys, I'll see you next time with another review. Peace.